Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever really looked at your computer or your phone and just thought about it? I mean, on its own, it's just a slick box of metal and glass. So what's the magic that actually makes it do anything? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that invisible force, the ghost in the machine we call software. Right, so that invisible force is software. It's the set of instructions that tells all the physical hardware, the processor, the memory, the screen, what to do. But here's the thing. It's not just one giant blob of code. Software is actually organized in these really distinct layers, starting right at the core hardware and building all the way out to the programs you and I use every single day. And if you zoom all the way out, you'll see that all software basically splits into two fundamental types. Getting this one distinction is the key to understanding everything else. First, you've got system software, and its job is to run the computer itself. Then there's application software, which runs on the computer. It's a simple but powerful idea. One type of software manages the machine, and the other lets you use the machine to get things done. So let's start at the bottom with that foundational layer. This is the unseen engine, the stuff that's working tirelessly behind the scenes. It's the software you probably rarely think about, but you absolutely could not live without. So what exactly is system software? Well, it's the whole collection of programs whose only job is to manage the hardware and create a stable platform for everything else. You know, if your computer were a car, this would be the engine, the transmission, the electrical system, all the crucial bits that make it go, way before you even think about turning on the radio. And this internal management team has a few star players. Right in the middle, you've got the operating system, the OS. That's the big boss, calling all the shots. Then you've got utilities, which are kind of like the computer's dedicated maintenance crew. And finally, device drivers, which act like translators, letting your hardware, like your mouse or your printer, actually talk to the OS. Together, they're the invisible crew that keeps your whole system humming. Okay, so we're calling utilities the maintenance crew. But what does that really mean in practice? Like, what kind of job do they actually do? Let's take a look at a really classic example of one of these utility programs in action. So imagine your hard drive is like a giant circular filing cabinet. When you save a file, the computer tries to keep all the pages neatly together in one spot. But over time, as you save, delete, and move things around, the pages of a single file can get scattered all over the place. This is called fragmentation. And now, to read that one file, the computer has to race around to all these different spots to find the pieces, which, you guessed it, slows everything way down. So how does a utility program fix this mess? Enter the disk defragmenter. Think of this utility as a super organized librarian who comes in overnight. It meticulously goes through the entire hard drive, finds every scattered piece of every file, and neatly puts them all back together in one continuous, easy-to-find block. This is the perfect example of system software's job. It's invisible, essential maintenance that just makes your whole experience faster and smoother. Okay, so the engine is running beautifully, all thanks to our system software. Now it's time to actually get in and drive. Let's move up a layer and talk about the software we all know and love, our digital toolbox. And this is application software, or as we all call them, apps. If the system software is the engine and transmission, then the application software is, well, it's everything else you interact with. It's the GPS that gives you directions, the stereo you play music on, even the steering wheel you hold. These are the tools that let you do specific things, whether that's writing an email or exploring a vast open world in a video game. And that toolbox is just incredibly diverse, isn't it? It's got everything from word processors for writing documents to spreadsheets for organizing data, photo editors, web browsers, games, you name it. Here's a good rule of thumb. If it's a program you consciously decide to open to get a specific task done, it's an application. So we've got the engine and we've got the tools, but how do they all work together so seamlessly? I mean, how does it all feel so fast? This brings us to a wonderfully clever trick your computer performs thousands of times every single second. Think about this for a second. Your computer's brain, the processor, can perform billions of calculations a second. It's incredibly fast. A printer, on the other hand, is a slow mechanical thing. So if the processor had to just sit there and wait for the printer to finish printing one line before sending the next, your whole computer would grind to a halt. So how does it avoid getting stuck in that traffic jam? The answer is a brilliant system called an interrupt, and here's how it works. When you hit print, the processor sends a small chunk of data over to the printer, and then it just moved on. It doesn't wait around, it gets back to handling your mouse movements or loading a web page.
Then, once that slow old printer is done and ready for more, it sends a signal back, the interrupt, which basically taps the processor on the shoulder and says, "Hey, I'm ready." The processor then pauses for a microsecond, sends the next bit of data, and gets right back to whatever it was doing. It's this constant, polite tapping on the shoulder, this system of interrupts that makes modern multitasking even possible. It allows that lightning-fast processor to manage dozens of slower tasks all at the same time without ever getting bored or stuck. It really is the secret sauce that makes your computer feel so incredibly responsive. So, from the deep down utilities keeping everything tidy, to the apps in your digital toolbox, all the way to the constant buzzing chatter of interrupts managing the flow of traffic, there is an entire invisible world whirring away just beneath your fingertips. So, the next time you click a button, maybe you can feel just a little echo of all those invisible instructions working for you.